Welcome back, James. I love the outfit today. Got you here for another bonus episode of the Conversion Podcast. Another interesting test example. Well, once again, just let you take it from here and just setting up. It's an anonymized one today, but I think again, very, very interesting to kind of take a look at in terms of like a principle that others can learn from and apply.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Matt. Today, talking about, I think, what is one of my probably all time top five most interesting experiments that I've run. And the concept surrounds the idea of friction, that a lot of times we're trying to reduce friction in the customer journey, reduce the number of steps, the number of actions, customer time to conversion is a metric that some organizations are tracking, is very important. And the question is all friction bad, right? Are some steps actually helpful? Can we play with this in any creative ways? And the example I want to talk about today came from a content site organization that we work with. That's primarily lead generations. They have a lot of content, and at the bottom, the primary call to action thing that they want is for people to sign up and to continue through the funnel, and then ultimately become a subscriber of their service. So a lot of their content looks like this, right? You've got your lead in, your article, and at the very bottom, a call to action to enter your email address and continue and sign up, learn more, get more of this type of content. And in the variation, we wanted to apply a little bit of friction in the form of psychological principle playing off two, I would say. One is the foot in the door. Instead of asking for someone's email right up front, it's very obvious ask. We want to ask for something a little bit smaller. Ask a simple question, a yes or no question. And then after that, we can present what you see in the control on the left, the enter email address and the continue. And at the same time, when we started with this strategy, the question was also surrounding the commitment bias, asking them something that they would be committing to that then hopefully, as a result of committing to that, would carry on through the funnel later because they've expressed explicitly their intent to commit or to continue. And so the question at the bottom was, does this interest you? And someone have to say yes or no. And then depending on whether they say yes or no, we present different options. And it's a great example of we've actually created friction in this experience, but we're going to use it like fuel as a result of those two psychological principles. So at the bottom of the article, when we say, does this opportunity interest you? Both options, no matter what you click, of course, are going to be presented with the opportunity to convert. It'd be silly if we just kick people off our site if they say no. So even if they say no, we can say, we're sorry to see you miss out. In case you change your mind, is there, enter your email address. But if someone said, yes, I'm interested in this, then act fast. Here's the email address field, click the button to continue. It's the same thing as the control, but it has a whole other step involved. But that friction, that little bit of commitment bias, and that simple foot in the door of, are you interested, yes or no, resulted in a 9% increase in leads, so actual email submissions for this client. And then all the way downstream, because there's multiple steps after this where they have to convert, they have to sign up, a 4% increase in downstream subscriptions as a result of this, not just upfront leads. Because someone's committed. That's where that commitment bias comes in, where they've said they're interested. Well, they better see that through, right? See what else this is really about. And so it's a great example of where adding an additional step, if it's done with intent, with an actual hypothesis and the strategy behind it, can work really well. But it's not always just about making it the fastest, quickest, fewest clicks to the end goal. So long as you understand your user's intent, their journey, their state of mind when they're on your page. I love this example. It was one of the most interesting tests I ever ran, and it stays up there in my top five.
I am curious. So we see this big jump in both leads and subscriptions here. The results showing only under the box over here, which is then act fast.
Mhm.
Is there any way, like, can you actually see? Obviously, they still have the opportunity to convert. Like, are they also converting in cases when they say no? I'm also very curious to say, like, if we were able to analyze that at all.
Yeah, fantastic question. And we were a great example of, tracking the right metrics, setting up your SDR, your plan of what you're going to track and how you're going to track it up front was important here. And then integrating it with a platform that can show you that what happened later. So we were able to track of people that clicked no and of people that clicked yes, what happened next. And it was very surprising that the people that clicked no, explicitly saying they're not interested, once they see the, we're sorry to miss out on the opportunity to convert, tons of them still converted. They still entered their
Fascinating.
email, they still carried on, and quite a few still subscribed at the end. So it's effective strategy on both sides of the coin.
Yeah, what a fascinating test. That's very, very, very cool to kind of see. Well, thank you once again. More to come. Stay tuned for next week.
Thanks for having me, Matt.